Hey friends, welcome to another video. This is Adrian with SoCal Backyard Orchard, and that's Brianna right there. She's learning what to do in the orchard, maintenance wise. That's the Avocado tree right there. Bananas, there's some Loquats over there, but I'm right here at my Lamb Haas avocado right now, which is flowering right now and is putting out some nice new growth. So that's a sign the tree is happy and healthy. But look down here, this is something to look out for. You don't want growth coming out from underneath the graft. This is the graft right here. So this growth is coming from under the graft. So if I let this grow out, it's not gonna fruit for a long time, probably. Could be 5 years or more. And the fruit may not be of good quality. So what you gotta do is just remove any growth coming out down from the bottom. Keep the trunk nice and clean. So that's one thing to look out for in the orchard. Alright guys, this is a champagne loquat right here. And my daughter actually just ate one earlier. Now she's eating a gold nugget. But she had a champagne and so she got to have the first one of the year. How's that, Bree?
Good.
First one of the year for her. Here is the champagne, and the graft on the champagne. Let's see here. I believe the graft is somewhere in here. It's kind of hard to tell now. Somewhere right here. So here's some growth, some lower growth. We're gonna take that off. There we go. And these are very necessary. These are Corona brand pruners. And you gotta have some really good quality ones that'll, make easier cuts, because you're gonna use these a lot in the backyard orchard. Something else to do is on the bananas to remove all these dead leaves. Even this one right here, well, yeah, that's ugly and it's dead. This one too, just all the dead leaves, remove them. But not during the winter time. During the winter time, it's a good idea to leave them, because as you can see, it's like a layer of protection for the plant in the winter time. But this time of year, it's like April, I think it's April 12th today. So I can go ahead and take all of this off. We should not get very cold weather from now on. But I'm not going to do that right now. That's going to be a little bit later. I'm going to keep walking around to see what else needs to be done. Come on, Brianna. Well, over this way, this is something I already did earlier. This is a Meyer lemon. And here's some Meyer lemons right there. They weren't quite ready yet. They're still a little green. But I went ahead and did a little bit of pruning on it. It had some really low branches. You can see one was right here. Nice big branch, but it was really low, and the end of the branch was basically right on the ground. And I don't want that, because later on when the tree's bigger, I want to have access to this area in case I want to add some compost or work on the irrigation or something. I want to be able to get underneath the tree to do all that. So that's why I did this, and just to promote some nice new flushes of growth. I also, let's see if you look all on the floor, I removed all the small fruits that were developing on the tree. And I did not do that last time around. That's why it has some fruit on it. And I actually got to try a couple really nice ripe ones, and they were really juicy and delicious. This is a grafted tree, Meyer lemon, but I took all those small fruits off this time just to help the tree establish more roots, you know, grow out the roots, and just put out some nice new healthy growth. I want these branches to get stronger, and you got to sacrifice some now to have a lot later on. So that's what I'm doing there. I got some lemons over here anyways, so that should be no problem. I removed probably 50% of the branches of this tree, or growth on this tree. You like that fruit?
I think it's better to just have 3.
3 what?
3
3 trees?
Loquats.
Yeah. Check out the cast guava, or Costa Rican guava. Oh, look at this. I didn't even see this until now. It's gonna flower. Look, Bree. This tree is finally gonna flower. I think it already did. I did find like a really small dry fruit on it a couple months ago. But look at that. Finally, we're gonna get some Costa Rican guava. What we're gonna do with these is probably make some juice. They're pretty acidic, but they give you can make some good juice out of them. That's an orange.
I said we can make a juice with
Loquats, huh?
yeah, Loquat.
Yeah, we've never done that before. We should try that. Another orange. I think that was the Washington Navel. And this is the Valencia. And then the mango tree. This guy's gonna fruit, it looks like. So that's cool. Here's the Moro blood orange. And about a month ago I did some work on this one, just pruning a little bit. The wood chips were up too close against the trunk, so I kind of moved them out of the way a little bit. I don't want wood chips right up against the trunk. And good thing I did that. Here I gotta do that. See, let's get in here. See, all I do is just kind of expose the trunk a little bit more. You can see it's actually quite wet. There we go. You don't want that trunk to start rotting.
Hiding spot where they live.
Yeah. This is the ice cream bean tree, and what I did about 2 months ago is remove some of the lower branches on it too. This tree, I'm just gonna let it get nice and big. This is gonna be we do like the fruit, but it's also mainly gonna be a shade tree for us here. And it is a nitrogen fixer, so it actually takes nitrogen from the air and puts it into the ground through its roots. So these trees next to it will benefit from the company of the ice cream bean tree. This bear's lime has been in the ground almost 4 years now, and when I planted it was a 15-gallon tree. So this guy is about 8 feet tall now. It's definitely established. It probably has a really nice root system. So I don't remove any fruit off that tree. I let that bear's lime produce as many limes as it wants. Check it out. Earlier I discovered a volunteer epazote plant. I don't know if you guys ever heard of this plant. It's very fragrant, and we use it in traditional Mexican dishes. In areas like this where you got a lot of weeds, I definitely got to get rid of these weeds. I have rabbits there. That's probably why I've been leaving them, and I might leave them. I'm not sure yet. So that way I could just pull weeds from here and give it to the rabbits. But right around the tree though, you definitely want to keep a nice area, nice large enough area free of weeds, because they will compete for nutrients with the fruit trees and for water as well. That's the Fuji persimmon. Here's a 4-in-1 apple tree. And I've been harvesting the rainwater. Comes down the hill. A lot of water comes down this hill. And I put some rocks here to kind of make it go down in this way. So this apple tree's been getting a ton of water, and then I channeled it over to the persimmon, and I also channeled it over this way to the 3 plum trees. And from here, the chickens were scratching around, so you can't really see it anymore, but I channeled it over to the strawberry guava. And look at the apple, the 4-in-1 apple tree. This is the Dorset Gold inside right here, and that's the one that's growing better for me and also fruiting better. And second place is gonna be right here, which is the Beverly Hills. See, I still have the tags down here. Another thing is, be careful that these tags aren't so tight around the branches. This one used to be like, where was it? It was way down here before. I moved it up a little bit. This one, same thing. When the tree was younger, it was down here. I took it off and put it up here. You don't want it to choke out the branches. But there's Beverly Hills. This one's doing pretty good. I would like more growth, like the Dorset Golden. Granny Smith is probably the one that doesn't do good. That's gonna be the 4th place. 3rd place is Fuji, right here. You can see there's a flower on the Fuji right there, but Dorset Golden by far does way better. And what I did, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, I came around and I thinned out a lot of the small apples. A lot of them were in clusters at the end of the branches. For example, right here, you could see where there were 5 more apples right here. So a total of 6, that's too much. So I thinned the tree out. They're spaced properly now. This way they're gonna develop into better quality apples. Here's my rabbits. These are my breeders. And I'm also harvesting the rabbit manure. You can see this stuff right here is really good for the fruit trees. I just added some on my grafted tejocote tree earlier today. I had a pot right here catching some of the manure, and it filled up, and so that worked out pretty good. So I just placed 2 pots over here. That way I don't have to shovel it out when I need to use it. But rabbit manure could actually be used right away. You don't have to compost it or anything like that. You could use it right away on your vegetables or fruit trees. Santa Rosa plum. This is a plum cherry hybrid. They call it a sweet treat plueri. It's a Dave Wilson nursery tree. All 3 of these are Dave Wilson trees. And then the one in the middle back there is a burgundy plum. And burgundy plum is the pollinator that they recommend for the plueri. And these are my little micro sprayers here. And that's another thing I gotta do once it's time to start irrigating. Don't need to do that anytime soon, but once it's time, I gotta go around the whole orchard and make sure the sprayers are placed properly, make sure they're all working and all of that. But see, here's more growth that I gotta take off right here. Growth that's coming out too low. There we go. That's it. Only takes a few seconds.
Da.
Huh. Here are the newer avocados we planted a few months ago, like 3 months ago. And you can see some gopher activity right here. But something I've noticed, and it's really just a theory. I'm not 100% sure. But I think since I usually have weeds around, I think the gophers go after the weeds and they feed off of the weeds. I've seen them coming out reaching for some weeds and they pull them back down in the hole. And I believe that might be helping out a little bit because they're not really going after my trees. I really don't lose trees to gophers. I think that maybe in an area like if this was all completely weed free, they would probably go somewhere else on my yard with weeds. But if there's really no weeds for them to eat, I think that's when they go after the tree's roots. I don't know if you guys have noticed that or if you guys feel the same way about that. But I think that's the only explanation I have for them not really killing my trees. Look at the Mexican sunflower. I did some little pinching off the tips, you know, to feed them to my rabbits. So that's why they look all nice and round like this. I kind of shaped them by pinching off the new growth every once in a while. Lamb Haas avocado. As you can see, it's gonna flower and it's gonna put out some nice new growth. But look at down here, there's weeds too close by. I want to pull these weeds out of here. Avocados need quite a bit of nitrogen to do good, so I don't want any weeds right here close to the tree's root system competing for that nitrogen. Right now, after it rains, is a perfect time to pull weeds because it's easier to pull them out because the ground is so moist and the roots just pull out easier. Alright, so you can see there's quite a bit to do. The way I do it is I don't really like spending like a whole day, like a whole weekend doing work. You know, I do a little bit every day, you know, 15, 30 minutes every day or every other day or just whenever I have a little bit of time. Pomegranate. Atemoyas. I really enjoy working outside with the plants and the trees. Ooh, there's a nice cherimoya right there. We've been harvesting a few here and there lately. That's a really nice shape on that one, and that's probably due to hand pollination. When you hand pollinate, then you get properly shaped fruit. Alright guys, well thanks for watching another video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave your comments, and we will see you next time.